Hey guys, how's it going? In another attempt to look good to fans who felt ripped off by the initial state of Cyberpunk 2077, a designer of the latest CD Projekt Red game recently spoke up and, believe me when I say this, you've got to stay with us till the end of the video that we're bringing today because we are coming in with all guns blazing. But before we continue, we want to spam you really quick because we are starting a new adventure on a new channel, so please come with us and subscribe because you won't be disappointed at all. So, we all agree that the controversial launch of Cyberpunk 2077 has been a giant step back for CD Projekt Red after releasing The Witcher 3. If we don't agree on that already, we have a problem. So let us know in the comments if you think otherwise. The fact is that Pavel Sasko, the main quest designer of the game, recently spoke in a live stream and left us the odd pearl that we want to discuss with you. You already know perfectly well what we think about the game thanks to the many videos we made in recent months. Links here. So this designer of the game that we bought on release date for €70 for our PS4 and that is now still not 100% polished, but that you can find already for just over €20, answer the question that many asked at the start, which is none other than, what happened? So with his balls of steel and almost crying, he said, what happened was that we reached for a new IP and we've tried to learn as much as we can. Our goals have been super ambitious. I don't really feel like the players and the journalists completely understand how difficult it was to make this game. We all agree that this game, like many others, could have had many problems throughout its development because that is something that happens and will always happen in this industry, and more when you see that you don't meet the deadline, but wait to hear our opinion because his statement doesn't end here. I'm not saying that you guys should be giving us more credit for it. You should demand a fully functional, well done game, and that's your right. The thing that I'm talking about is more of an acknowledgement. That was a very difficult game to make, a very ambitious one, and we've tried to pull off as much as we could on all fronts. Now guys, this is when we go off. In other words, the problem is not that it was a game that had many problems in its development because of how ambitious it was, which being a company like CD Projekt Red, if they're not ambitious, we have a problem. The problem comes when he tells us this, knowing that they were going to release an unfinished game and not about how difficult it is to create it. All this is about not having to deceive people and be transparent. And if you end up having to delay it another 5 times more, no problem. But what can't happen is that 5 months had passed and the game on some platforms, see PS4, still has serious basic problems. The players of course demand a fully functional game that is well made, but not from CD Projekt Red, but from any company in which we are going to invest some money for our entertainment, be it €1 or €70. The problem comes when you sold us a product with spectacular marketing that at the moment of truth had nothing to do with what we saw, and worst of all, we repeat, is that you knew it. We may sound tetchy, yes, and we have no problem admitting it. We're tired of all these things trying to clean up their image. What we need is less of this and more work on the product we wanted. A lot of patches have already been released and Cyberpunk 2077 is much better, true, but it still has time to be the game that was sold to us in all the trailers. If they had not lied to us in such a way, we would have even felt some empathy for them because of the affection we have for them after The Witcher. But this game will go down in history because they deliberately lied until the last second so as not to have a drop in sales. But hey, the truth is that despite everything, they have not done badly with Cyberpunk 2077 because the game sold 13.7 million copies in just 21 days. The studio recently revealed that number and many other interesting figures in relation to Cyberpunk, such as that 56% of all those copies that were sold were for PC. That is 7.67 million games. 20% of the sales were for PS4 and the remaining 17% are copies sold for Xbox One. 73% of copies sold were digital. It's especially striking that the PS4 data is surprisingly good considering that just a week after its release the game disappeared from the PS Store. With this you can see without a doubt that the marketing had its effect. But unfortunately the reputation of the study has been seriously damaged and we will see what happens with the next game they are preparing. From the studio they have already assured us that they will do more honest marketing for their future games because they have learned a lesson they will never forget. What do you think? Do you think the next production will suffer after all this? Will they get their image cleaned up anytime soon? Make sure to tell us in the comments and we'll see you very soon.